Theatre Gippsland. 6 theatres working together to bring the best live theatre performances to Gippsland. Each venue is only a short distance by road from its neighbour, and though each is owned by a different shire, the network creates a program of live shows with the whole region in mind. We sat down with Robson from West Gippsland Arts Centre and Kathleen from Latrobe Performing Arts Centre to find out about the opportunities for live theatres and Gippsland's thriving music scene to connect.
You got the recording on radio, and when enough people liked it, you'd go out and do a concert. And I think it's the other way around now. You build the audience through live performance. And the big difference for us, I mean, Live at Spectrum's doing a great job in giving people a taste of these artists. We need to work with that, because at the end, there's still the live experience. And Live at Spectrum, you know, it has that live experience feel, but beyond that, there is the real live experience. And I think that's something that we've got as an opportunity, and we're not maximising it. We're going to work out how better to get to that point.
I think we're all in a great space now in terms of the theatres in Gippsland, that we really want to engage and understand about engaging in a different way and in potentially a more meaningful way to not only our audiences but then also our local community full of musicians and actors, which is brilliant. So I think that it's more about, you know, I'm excited because it's let's come along for the ride and to see where that takes us, and you know, to actually have the ability to do that and also be brave in that space. I think that has great outcomes, the potential.
So it's a question of what is it that we can do that we're particularly well suited to. And I think of the recent presentation we had here from Skipping Girl Vinegar. So there's an emerging or an emerged indie band performing at a really high level, but the thing that they had added was a visual component to their show. They'd created a whole bunch of background animations that kind of went with the performance. Now that was out of the scope when they performed that at the Corner Hotel, say. And they were looking for that next level. So they performed their show at the Arts Centre Melbourne, and via that they came through to some of our other venues. And it was an awesome show, and they're an awesome band. But we still couldn't get to that point where we could put more people in the audience to see them. So what would be nice is you build a relationship via the venue between an artist and an audience, and you bring the audience back. I liken it to the old days of Countdown, and you know, one of the great things about Countdown was that into everyone's lounge room on a Sunday night, artists were introduced, so that across the whole country, a band like Skyhooks or Cold Chisel was introduced. And those bands that might have only ever been able to get a gig in the cities, in the capital cities, suddenly had an opportunity to perform beyond that because people were aware of those bands through that. I think it's that building of awareness and interest. But the other side of it is that the people who are interested in this music are interested in music. They're interested in being the pathfinders and the explorers and the ones discovering the new talent. I was there on the night when, you know, those sorts of things. And I think one of the things that Spectrum's showing is that it isn't about one type of music. The diversity of music in the Spectrum series has been amazing, in that there's all these different genres, and I think that's what we can offer, a place where people can explore and discover and find things that are sideways from what they're really interested in.
Having with Live at Spectrum, and then also, you know, our venues being able to jointly leverage off of each other and saying, taking a risk. It's not normally, oh, I couldn't go and see this type of music because I don't normally see that, or I might not enjoy it, or I wouldn't go to the pub and see that. Both parties finding a way in which to leverage off of each other and to actually give people the opportunity to discover what it is that potentially they may really love. When we look at perhaps even an underutilised space within our venues, to be able to say, hey, how great would it be that, you know, to be encouraged, you know, even from a really grassroots level, you know, those young people who are participating in perhaps an Eisteddfod, or has gained a position, a role in the local theatre companies, and then to be able to actually bring that and come back into a space that they're able to be nurtured and have a go in and explore, and that we're actually part of that melting pot, and that's all coming together. Like, you know, that's to actually sit back, I find, you know, is really indulgent to sort of hear of an artist who, or, you know, or a musician who will actually say, I remember when I was in the Stedford and I performed on that stage, and then you can see people's eyes are going, wow, you know, that there was that direct influence, or that there was just that engagement, and that's something really special.
And what we have is an opportunity to work collaboratively to make a difference in that space, whereas other people are sort of working one by one by one. I think it's a question of creating an experience, a brand if you like, so that within that experience people can have an expectation of something without it being specifically appearing tonight, name of band. And that way I think the variety, I think Spectrum builds a really nice sense of variety, so that, you know, in any given program you're going to get a sample of at least 2 different things. That's important, I think. Remember too that the wonderful world of support acts, that the opportunity for local artists to come in and play a support act for a headliner is something that we could do much more of, and that's fantastic experience and great exposure. And let's face it, no one's making $1 million out of it these days. People are doing it for the love of it and for the absolute desire to express themselves and to express themselves in music. And I've said it before, of all of the art forms, music is the one that most people have in their lives every single day, some form of music. There are very few people who in a day don't at some point or other listen to some sort of music, or sing some sort of music, or participate in some sort of musical activity.
To be able to have the storytelling and to be deeply affected by it, and then to be able to have someone talk to you afterwards because of how that they were affected, or that they were willing to then, I didn't think that I would enjoy that, but I did, so next time I'm going to come and I'm going to bring friends. I think we'd all be open to a conversation, because then we're going to be able to decide whether it's going to work or not. You know, but it's more, let's have that conversation, because if we don't have it, we could have just missed out on the best thing ever. And how sad would that be?